Is my screen visible there? Yeah. Right. So when you look into the graphical representation of Rawls law, yeah, you can see that it's a plot of mole fraction versus vapor pressure. The mole fraction is plotted on x-axis and vapor pressure is plotted on y-axis, right? And mole fraction, in the beginning you can see this is the ratio by values given. Chi1 is equal to 1 and chi2 is equal to 2. That means mole fraction of the solvent or first component is 1 and mole fraction of the second component is 0. So what does that mean? What is it meaning? That means that mole fraction of the first component is 1 and mole fraction of the second component is 0. What does that mean? There is no solute. It is just like a pure solvent because we know that whatever the components present in a solution, the total number of like chi1 plus chi2 should be equal to 1. So mole fraction, sum of mole fraction should be always equal to unity. So here chi1 is equal to 1 mean it is made up of only one substance, that is a pure substance 1 or the component 1, or you can say just a solvent. So that is why you can see at that condition the vapor pressure is taken as P10 because anyway when we write 0 that is for the pure component, vapor pressure of pure water or pure component. Yes.
Ma'am, I have a doubt. I just wanted, ma'am, in that P1, ma'am, Raoult's law, ma'am, in the formula, that's P1 equal to x1 P naught 1, right?
Yeah.
And ma'am, in the P total, it's equal to x1 P10.
That is, see, it's just like position only change. When you write, no, it's actually P naught and this one is 1 like that. Whether you write it, because when you're typing, no, it's typed in different way. That's the thing. There is no
Ma'am, so it's
issues.
just the same thing?
Yeah, same thing only. Because
Ma'am,
it's
so it's
when you're typing,
x1 P naught 1
but
only,
when you
right?
write, you write zero or not above P and 1 is as a subscript, right? So when you write, there is no such issue. But when you type, it's like you can either type 0 first or 1 like that. That is the only difference. So that will not affect you when you're writing in a paper.
No, ma'am, because the formula is x1 P naught 1 plus x2 P naught 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
So again, in the beginning, this is the condition. Chi1 is equal to 1 mean at the beginning you have only solvent. There is no solute. Solute is concentration, that is mole fraction is taken as 0. That means there is no solute. It is only pure solvent. And at that condition, the vapor pressure will be equal to the vapor pressure of the pure solvent. So if you're taking water and in the beginning there is only water, so at that condition, the vapor pressure will be equal to vapor pressure of water because there is only water. And after that you can see mole fraction is increasing for chi2. So solute, you keep on adding solute. You keep on adding solute mean the concentration of or the mole fraction of solute, that is chi2, increases along the x-axis. So what happened? You can see um, as you go from left to the right along the x-axis, the concentration of the solute is increasing and the concentration of the solvents, obviously, because chi1 plus chi2 should be equal to 1 always. That is a rule as per the mole fraction. So what is happening is here you can see the vapor pressure P10, that was the initial vapor pressure, is actually decreasing. It's decreasing. At the same time, the value of P20, which was 0 in the beginning because there was no solute or present in it, there was no component, it was 0, it started increasing for P2. So P1 started decreasing because P1 was the only component in the beginning, so it was at the highest, that is the purest value possible. And after that, it started decreasing. When you start adding solute as another liquid, which is termed as a solute, is keep on adding, the vapor pressure decreases for first component. But the vapor pressure of the second component started increasing. That is what's seen in this graph. If you look at P1 and P2, because P1 note is used only when P1 note is used only when it is in the pure form. Other than when it is a solution, then the contribution will be always shown as P1 and P2 terms. P1 means contribution of the partial vapor pressure of a particular component when it is part of a solution. But P1 naught or P1 zero mean it is the vapor pressure of a substance when it is in the pure form. So that is the difference. So this happens only when you have an individual component. So when you can see, initially there was only solvent and later you keep on adding solute, and at the end of the graph what you can see, it is chi1 is equal to 0 and chi2 equal to 1. What is that meaning? What does that mean? Yeah, there is no, only solute is there, pure solute is there, right? There is no solvent because chi1 is taken as 0, right? So at one end there is only solvent, another end there is only solute, and when there is only solute, the vapor pressure is equal to P20. When you are taking pure solute, vapor pressure will be the value of the vapor pressure in its pure form, that is P2 naught or P20, right? And the rest is like it's showing the change, how the value of P1 and P2 is changing due to this increase or decrease in the concentration of solute and solvent. So you can either move from left to the right explanation or from right to the left. In whichever it's applicable. It's not like a normal graph where you're starting only from the origin. You can start from origin to the other end or in the other ways also. It's like both the side. The graph is explaining in both the direction.
Ma'am, so are you saying it can be a flipped image?
Not a flipped image. It's like you can explain the graph by either explaining from one end to the other end or in the reverse direction.
Okay.
Explanation can be in any of the directions.
But isn't the solute supposed to be less than the solvent?
No, this is like we are trying. See, you take in a beaker, you take 1 glass of water. In a beaker, you take water. In another, you take alcohol. So when they are in the pure form, they got their own vapor pressure, right? So that is entirely different thing. And when you start mixing them in the different proportion, some cases one will be solute, other case it will be solvent, and it may change, right? When you're varying.
Yes, ma'am.
So here 1 and 2 is for component 1 and component 2.
Ma'am, in
That's
lab will
it.
we do this?
What? What do you have to do?
I'm like
What you
checking
want to
this.
do? No, for you it's not there. Okay, and here there is one more graph is showing, that is P total is equal to P1 plus P2. That means we know that P1 value is decreasing and P2 value is decreasing during the change, and overall result will be P total, that will be contribution from the first and the second component. That will remain there. Another question. You can see P10 is values here and P20 is value here. What is that meaning? What is that? Why the values are not same? Yeah, why the values are different? Because they do different substances. Yeah, because they are two. It is to show that component 1 and 2 are different substance, and each substance will have different volatile nature and their vapor pressure will be different. They don't have the same value. That is why they are showing. So if you're drawing a graph, same graph you are drawing, and in your graph if it is P10 is more than that of P20, that is correct. It is possible. Maybe either the solvent or the solute, one of them will have greater value of vapor pressure than the other. That is possible. This is just one example, which doesn't mean that it should be like this all the time. P10 can be a bigger value than that of P20. So that is also possible. So here Rolle's law graph is actually explaining how the vapor pressure is varying in terms of first component or in terms of second component. In both the way you can explain. That means with respect to the first component, how the vapor pressure is changing when the concentration is changing. Because here, as per the definition of Rolle's law, partial vapor pressure is directly proportional to mole fraction. So at any concentration or at any mole fraction value, you will be able to connect it with the vapor pressure. That is how the graph is like at any point of concentration or at any point of vapor pressure, you can find a relation between them using this graph. Yeah, clear? That much only important, no need to what you can say very much, but you should be knowing what is the meaning of all these points in this graph. Yeah, so again, Rolle's graph is actually a plot of vapor pressure versus mole fraction, and you can see in the beginning in two ends it is pure components only is there. One end there is only pure component 1 and the other end is only component 2. So that is the case when you have vapor pressure of pure components P10 or P20, and as the concentration changes you can see that P1 value is decreasing because the concentration of the component 1 is decreasing. So it's directly proportional. When the concentration decreases, that is the mole fraction decreases, partial vapor pressure also decreases. Similarly, when the concentration of the second component increases, P2 is increases. That means concentration or mole fraction increases, partial pressure also. It's a direct relation. So if it is decreasing, partial pressure also decreases. If concentration increases, again the partial pressure will increase. So it's always a direct relation. That is what shown in the graph. Am I clear? Yeah. Or you can draw it when you are, I'll upload the notes. Or you can just roughly draw. It will be good if you understand and draw. Any doubt to anyone? Please ask and clear before we proceed. Just roughly draw the shape of the graph and what are the things you want to basically look at is x1, this values you need to plot very clearly and show P10, P20 and P total. So basically there are 3 line graphs together shown in one. You can draw it 3 of them separately. That is you can possible, but 3 of them is shown together. That's it. You can either show only how the component 1 mole fraction and its vapor pressure is varying alone separately, or you can plot how for the second component the vapor pressure and mole fraction is changing, or you can show separately how P total is changing across the different concentration. So like that you can plot 3 of them separately, but 3 of them is shown together in one graph. So direct relation only, it's actually straight line. Directly proportional mean you will get a straight line. Done? Done. Yeah, Abhishek. Ayan, done?
I'm almost just writing the P1, P2.
Okay. Yeah. So if anybody is still working. Done? Okay. So I'll change. Now, when we look into the yeah. So in the last slide, we have seen the equation P total is equal to P1 plus P2. You have two component 1 and 2. So total vapor pressure will be partial vapor pressure of first component plus partial vapor pressure of second component. So when you know this equation, you can write it as P1 is equal to chi1 P1 0. Similarly, we know that P2 is equal to chi2 P2 0. So when you substitute this value of P1 and P2 in the equation, you will get P total is equal to chi1 P1 0 and chi2 P2 0. Right? You're just substituting what is the value of P1 and P2. Now we know that always chi1 plus chi2 is equal to 1, or you can replace chi1 is equal to 1 minus chi2. Because chi1 plus chi2 is equal to 1. So chi1 will be equal to 1 minus chi2. Right? So that you can substitute in the equation. So chi1 will become 1 minus chi2 into P1 0 plus chi2. That means you are bringing both the chi1 and chi2 in terms of one of the component. Right? So chi1 is replaced with 1 minus chi2. So this is what you are doing, and finally you will get an equation P total is equal to P1 0 plus P2 0 minus P1 0 into chi2. So what is the advantage of changing this equation in this way is that you can find, usually to find the total pressure, you need to know the mole fraction of both the component. Chi1 and chi2 should be known, right? If it is not known, only one is known, then also you can calculate the total pressure using this modified equation. So this equation is used only when you know the mole fraction of only one of the component. If you don't know the mole fraction of the other component, then you can use this one. Otherwise, if both of them is known, then you can just use the normal equation P total is equal to P1 plus P2. So you will have chi1 and chi2, P1 naught and P2 naught value. So you can use a normal equation, but this modification is done in order to use the same calculation when you have only the mole fraction of one of the component is known to you. So this is just the modification. So right now this is showing because in the numericals which we gonna discuss next, there are questions related to this equation. So this is very, very important. You should be knowing which equation to use under which conditions. So write down this equation. Done? Okay. Now, the following conclusion can be drawn from this equation. That is just now what we modified. The total vapor pressure over the solution can be related to the mole fraction of any one component. That's what I said, the advantage of modifying. It has been converted to in terms of one of the component. So total vapor pressure over the solution can be related to the mole fraction of any one of the component. Yeah. Total vapor pressure varies linearly with the mole fraction of component 2. Because it's again a direct relation. There is nothing to explain in these 3 points. You can easily read and understand. Same thing, that's what I was explaining. You can connect the total vapor pressure of a solution above the solution with one of the component. There is a linear relationship between total vapor pressure with the mole fraction of component 2. Last year we have discussed about Dalton's law. How many of you still know what is it? What is Dalton's law? Anybody there? Total silence.
Ma'am, it's related to like partial pressures of gases, yeah.
Yeah, partial pressure and what connecting between partial pressure and not volume.
Mole
Okay, anyway,
Temperature.
Ma'am, it connects mole fractions also, right? Mole fractions and partial pressures.
mole fraction, but yeah, but showing a relation between mole fraction is there, that term is there in that equation, Dalton's equation, but it is basically showing a relation between total pressure and its connection with the partial pressure. Okay, anyway, we'll discuss that. So here we discuss that as per the Rawls law, P1 is equal
Can you show
to
the previous slide, please?
done.
1 minute.
In all these minute details we are going because in numericals you need to know all these details. That is why slowly we are going. Everything is just like same thing only, but different form of asking the questions from the same topic. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in our condition, this was our condition. We have a beaker closed and you got component 1 and 2. That was a mixer. 2 liquids were there, volatile were there. It was volatile and you can have component 1s in the vapor form and component 2 also in the vapor form. That is what partial pressure of component 1 and partial pressure of component 2. Right? So, as per the Rawls law, P1 is equal to chi1 P1 0 and P2 is equal to chi2 P2 0, where chi1 and chi2 are the mole fraction of component 1 and 2 inside the solution. Inside that solution, in the solution, What is the mole concentration of component 1 and 2 is expressed in terms of mole fraction, and it was denoted by chi1 and chi2. But when you look into the vapor state, in vapor state also you have component 1 and 2 and you can express its concentration, right? And concentration can be expressed in terms of mole fraction, and that is what represented with the term Y1 and Y2. So Y1 is the mole fraction of component 1, mole fraction of component 1 in vapor phase. Similarly, Y2 will be the mole fraction of component 2 in vapor phase. So Y1 and Y2 are mole fraction, but that is the mole fraction, or you can say the concentration of component 1 or 2 in the vapor state. The chi1 and chi2, as per the Rolle's law, that is a statement. That is where the concentration of their solution, inside the solution, what is the mole fraction of component 1 and component 2, that is what's represented by chi1 and chi2. So in the vapor phase also you can express its concentration in terms of mole fraction, and in that way if you look, you can see that as per the Dalton's law, partial pressure will be equal to mole fraction into total pressure, right? This is the equation Dalton's law last year we discussed. Partial pressure will be equal to mole fraction multiplied by total pressure. Similarly, partial pressure of vapor pressure of second component will be equal to mole fraction multiplied by total pressure. So this is the equation. Partial pressure is equal to chi into P total. This was the Dalton's law, and chi is not we are using here, because if you are again using chi, you may get confused whether it's a solution or gas phase. That is why we use Y1 and Y2, because Y1 and Y2 is just to show the difference that these are the mole fractions in the vapor phase. So you can use Y instead of chi. But in actual case, we use mole fraction as chi only. Like when you discuss the Dalton's law, at that time also we were using chi. But only here, in order to show the difference, in order to differentiate them, the mole fraction in the vapor phase is taken as Y1 and Y2. That is why in general you can write partial pressure is always equal to mole fraction into P total. So if you have a mix of 3 components, gases, then the total pressure and partial pressure is connected in this way. Partial pressure is equal to mole fraction of that component into total pressure. All these are important things for the numerical. That's why we are discussing one by one in detail. So you should be knowing which equation to use and what is the condition to use this equation. So here this equation is used when you are dealing with the vapor phase. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am. Very clear.
Okay. Okay, we'll continue in the next period, okay? We have one more period, and I think we can even solve the numerical related to it today itself.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, take care.